I never went to a Diddy party.
Thank God. Bro, you... Yo, thank fuck we cleared that up, you know what I mean? Ladies and gents, can we get some noise for the D.O.C, please?
Thank you, brother. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So first of all, mad appreciation for coming down, do you know what I mean?
Love, man, love.
Obviously, you got a crazy story. You've got a lot of admirers out here that have followed your music for a long time. And it's mad to see you here in Manchester, you know, bro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Strat.
I've been thinking of some deep questions to start with. Well, my first one is, what the fuck are you doing here, bro?
So I'm a very spiritual human being. Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time it's a G-O-D thing. It's not a D.O.C. thing, right? And so, firstly, that's why I'm here, because this is where he want me to be. Mm-hmm. Secondly, there's a football club called Radcliffe.
Madcliffe.
And the guy that owns that club is my brother. I met him through a mutual friend in a mutual friend from Dallas. And I came over here and fell in love with the city, you know. The people are fucking, oh, excuse me.
Nah, go for it, man. You do me a favor, bro.
Just keep it real.
Yeah, keep it real, man.
The people are dope as fuck here. I relate to them. It feels like home to me. And I'm at a point where, like you, I'm trying to build and grow and add to this culture in a way that's bigger than just the accolades I have from the past. And you and I, we share a lot of similarities. Mm-hmm. As I said and listened to your story, both our past, our present, and our future seem to be sort of going the same way. Mm-hmm. And so it may be a reason that we are here, even beginning this journey together this evening. You know, and so you came a long way. You did some amazing things, and I'm honored to be on stage with you.
No, I appreciate it, man. That's mad. That's mad. I really appreciate it, man. I came and watched the football match the other day. We came to Radcliffe. You're the club ambassador down there. Unfortunately, they lost at the weekend, but that was the referee. Let me put that out there. But it's very interesting to see you down there. You're very much a man of the people. You weren't, you know, you was in and amongst the crowd, taking pictures, signing things, talking to everybody out there. Where does that come from? Do you know what I mean? Like,
bro, I've always been just a regular old guy. You know what I mean? I've been blessed enough to connect with some incredible artists and do things at a really high level. But that never took away from who I am. And then, that accident in 1989 really humbled me in a lot of ways, you know. 1989, in my mind, I was the baddest motherfucker ever.
You still are, yeah.
And in my mind, yeah. And it took me a long time to get, well, no, let me take that back. It actually took me, that whole journey started with a prayer. That's why I make sure people know it's a G-O-D thing. That whole journey that's in that documentary started with a prayer. My mother wanted me to go to the Army. And I'm not a soldier for the streets. And I damn sure ain't a soldier for Uncle Sam. It's just not in me. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. That's what I do really well. You know, like when you say you got on stage and you don't know why you got up there. You just did it, and the response you got triggered a dopamine hit that you could never feel. You know, you wanted more of that.
Yeah, man.
So when I first started writing raps, I was so fucking good at it that's what I wanted to do. I know I could do it. I could be great at that. So I prayed. I said, God, this is what I want. And if you will allow me to have this, when I get there, I promise that I'm going to tell everybody it was you, it wasn't me. And 18 months later, after that prayer, I had sold 3 million records. Yeah. Unfortunately, show business got a way of making you think your balls are bigger than they are. And I started running through the streets of California, acting a certain way and doing things that are really outside my nature. And that accident happened, and it really brought me back to life, you know, back to reality, to quote.
Yeah.
Old soul to soul. It brought me back to the here and now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was tough. It was hard. But I didn't have time to lay in that. I was ashamed that I had made that mistake, but I felt like I had to fix it. You know, I didn't have the voice to do it, so I talked Dre into doing it. You know, Dre, I can't do it, so you're gonna do it. You know.
I saw something very interesting recently that someone suggested to you, that you never lost your voice, it just changed. Because while you had that accident and, you know, it set you back as an artist yourself, you still found a way to create for other people.
Yeah, man.
And create some of the biggest music and movements and cultures of our entire existence. And that's what we're interested in here, like the creativity, what it brought to you personally. So, you know, speaking of Dallas and going back, because you are heavily associated with LA and all that kind of thing, but originally you're from Dallas. And I kind of want to start there, go back to the beginning, because Dallas is, I don't think people here, unless you've been, you really can appreciate the scale of it, how big it is over there. You know, Manchester's a very condensed city, you can get about, but over there it's massive. And I just wanted to get back to like the start of where this all began for you, because before you started music, you was kind of early in rap when this was all beginning, but when you was a kid and stuff, what influenced you when you was like real young and stuff? What was your parents listening to?
Bro, I wasn't you know, your past where music is concerned, I didn't have that. You know, I had my own interests. Like I've always been a chosen one. I've always been by myself. I was a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid with a little blue 8-track cassette player. And there was a group called the OJs. And they had a song called Brandy. I love that song. I felt like I was I felt like I was so smart as a 7-year-old kid, because I knew the song was talking about a dog. And it seemed like my parents thought it was talking about something else. But I love the song so much, I realized that you have to let the song play, and then you have to click it 2 times and wait for a song to play, and it'll come on again. And that's how, you know, and I developed a real love for soul music through my own sort of vehicle, you know. My family wasn't like yours, it wasn't big, and, you know, it was just me. But my grandmother, she didn't read very well, and I would read her mail to her, and she loved me so much for that, you know, and so that made me want to be a better reader, and so I became voracious when it comes to reading. And I tell folks a story. I was living with my father going into high school. High school in the States is 9 through 12. That's your last 4 years of the early school. And I was poor as fuck. I had to wear like the same clothes a lot. And kids is mean. And I just didn't want to go to school. So I just stopped going. But what I would do is my father, it was just me and him at the time. He would wake me up at 7 o'clock in the morning, get up, go to school. I would go to the bathroom, turn on the shower, and lay down on the floor and go back to sleep. And when he would leave to go to work, I would go get back in the bed and give me some Z's and wait till about noon, get up, give me something to eat, watch the stories, and walk to school. I timed that walk to just under 2.5 hours. And I would take a couple of words from the dictionary during that 2-hour walk and study them in the dictionary and the thesaurus, backwards and forwards, the wordplay, what it meant, noun, verb, adjective, how you did, so that when I got to school, I could just walk through the school building, get on the school bus, and go back home, and my father would see me get off the bus, and I would go in and use those words on his ass, and he would be like, wow. This kid is something else.
Yeah, man.
And that lasted for a year. And then the school called, and he did what fathers do when you're fucking up that bad. And that was it for me. But over that year, I had built up so many words that when rap really started to happen in my city, I had all these words stored, and I was using different vocabulary than the other kids. I was using them in different ways, and that really that's where that dopamine hit came from.
Yeah. I'm still feeling that now, bro.
And they was like, wow, man, you sold this. And I was like, okay, this is my thing, And one thing led to another. This guy, Dr. Dre and Eazy-E, those guys visited the city, and they heard me. And Dre was like, man, you are incredible. If you were in LA, I guarantee you we'd be rich. And at first I turned him down. I belonged to another group. So let's tell the group, let's go. He's like, fuck the group. I'm just talking about you. I said, I can't leave my group. But 6 months later, my mother, when I dropped out of school, hit me with that ultimatum. It's either if you're not going to school, you're going to the service. And I had a card. Dre left me with a card. I phoned him and said, is that offer still stand? He was like, yes, sir. And I just borrowed enough money to catch a flight to Compton, and the rest is history.
Man, mad. So, I feel like in a professional interview, they'd probably go like linearly now and go through your story, but when I heard you talking about your vocabulary and these words that you're learning, it reminds me of a moment I saw in your documentary where they're interviewing Eminem about you, and you start spitting your bar word for word from start to finish, and he brings you over asking you what he said on this bit. And I could see you going crazy over it, because he's a wordsmith. He's another guy who does words.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feel to have someone at that level who can like recognize and represent the stuff that you did way before you was even out, and that, you know what I mean?
So what you see in the movie, what you'll see in the documentary is me understanding where I am in that moment.
Yeah.
I know that it's a documentary being shot, so I have to play the role of me being,
Yeah.
But also, this motherfucker Eminem is rapping my shit. And he knows it word for word, and he's fanning out, like he's super humble, and he can't, And Eminem is one of them ones, I tell folks all the time, there's really the culture, good, bad, or indifferent, will probably only push him so far up the level because of his background. And by the same token, the system will push him further because of his background. But if you're an artist, if you're a technician, you know who he is. You know what I mean? And so to know that there are bits and pieces of me and M just feels great.
When myself and Dub Physics did a couple of tours in America, and when we went to LA, we said to the promoter, yo man, take us to Compton for the day. He's like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Smart man.
Smart man. But me and George went there. I just had to see it, do you know what I mean? It felt funny, it's not like a zoo situation, but I just wanted to feel the energy and go see. So we went there, we went to like Watts Towers.
Wow, bro, you was in the heart of
went
it.
to Nickerson Gardens.
Man, you were in the projects.
We saw it, got the pictures, man, I'll show you in a second. But what was it like for you coming from Dallas to Compton? Because that's a big step in itself, and like, especially at that time, you think it's wild now, like, them days, very different. What was that like for you as a Dallas? Because as you said, you've always been open and honest to say you're not like a street guy, you're never gone on like a gangster. For you to like, and I think there's a lot of young musicians who feel like they have to play a certain role to like propel themselves in their career. But for you, you've always been really open and honest on that. But it must have been a mad step to go from Dallas to Compton at that time.
Bro, being a gangster is if that's what you are, that's cool, right? But 9 times out of 10, you're gonna end up 1 or 2 places running that race, right? I was never that. I was a grandmama's boy, mama's boy. I stayed in the house and read her mail to her. That's what I did. And but when I got to California, I got surrounded by all of these knuckleheads that's what they did. Now, my saving grace was I was at this rap shit. I'm about as good as it get, and so I could talk shit to you on that level. I don't have to worry about fussing and fighting or feeling like you're gonna have to feel a certain way, because I'm just being honest. I would go tell them boys, D.O.C. is here, so now we can make some hit records. They didn't like that shit at all, but they talk shit, I talk shit, right? I'm from Texas, this is how we do. But when it came to the street stuff, and by the time Suge came in, and I'm dealing with all of this blood stuff, it was just beyond me. It was more than I could handle, and so I stepped back and allowed those guys to proceed, and still gave all I could to ensure that what we were trying to build was as good as it can be, because to me, success is the only thing that matters.
Yeah, man. Nah, seeing you, the people that you've been around, and the fact that you were behind the scenes and like of all these seminal hits and movements, it's crazy, man. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if you know this, but tomorrow is the 30th anniversary of All Eyes on Me by Tupac.
Wow.
Tomorrow. And I wanted to ask you about sort of being around not only Tupac, but Snoop, Eazy-E, all these massive artists, these like legendary figures. Is there something that they all shared together that kind of, I don't know, what did you find about them, or what is it about them guys that have that big movement in them and like the voice to speak out?
Yeah, they each one of those individuals has the thing, the it thing, for different reasons. Snoop's it is way different than Pac's it. Eazy's it is different from everybody's it, but they all got it. Snoop is a really charming, good dude. He's actually a really humble kid, and he was raised well, and would work for you. Eazy was a real live gangster. He was that. He was a dope boy to the fullest. He was a stone cold, carry my weapon on you and I can't wait to use it kind of guy. Even though he was just this big, he was somebody you did not want to tangle with, and Pac was an enigma in a lot of ways. He was so much more talented than just being a rap person, I think he was a much better actor than he was a rapper, and he was a much more powerful activist than he was any of that shit. He just never got a chance to, but it's a G.O.D. thing, man, and everything happens for a purpose. The guy said that He might not be the one, you know, but he thinks that he's going to be the one to spark the mind of the one, and that might turn out to be very well what happens.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think going back to what I was speaking on earlier, like a lot of the early lessons of my life came through music. Whether it was a good lesson or a bad lesson, you know what I mean. But I feel like, you know, like I said, Wu-Tang, learn about that side, like the 5%ers and all that. Pac, learn about sort of revolutionary. Even though he was balanced between sort of dark and cold shit, he had also the positive stuff. And it's like, I suppose, do you feel that's lacking from today's music? Is there any artists out there that you think replicate that kind of energy and vibe that you used to have back then?
I think today's music is today's music. I try not to be a judge of the music. I just observe it, you know. This documentary is gonna allow me to make an album this year. I haven't made new music in 40 years almost, but I'm still as good as, I'm better than I was then now, because I'm seasoned. I know that what's needed, you know what I mean? Like we've smoked enough weed, we've shot enough motherfuckers in the ass, we've all had some, you know, sex, and we've done it all, and we've seen it, the titties, and we've done it. Now we are in a moment, we are in a really crucial moment in time across the planet. A really interesting reset that is calling the tribe together, wherever your tribe is. You know, whether you are one of the ones that want to burn this motherfucker down, or whether you're one of the ones that want to come together and figure out how we're going to exist on this planet together in the next iteration, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Because at the rate we going, this motherfucker ain't gonna be here for nobody. Gonna burn it down, and we could all go to hell together, or we could figure out how to live together, how to love together, how to understand that it's enough for everybody. You know, it's not, the shit that fucks me up is there are those that have everything, but having everything doesn't seem to be enough for them. They're not happy unless you don't have shit. Like, what the fuck? What kind of mind is that? You know? And who could support a mind like that? I asked Marcus McCabe, the owner of Radcliffe Football over there. When I was coming in here, we went to this Chinese restaurant that's not too far from here. Great Chinese food, by the way. Wings. And I came out, and there's a bunch of tents out there. That's where the homeless people was at. And they weren't in their tents at the time, they were at work. Begging, you know, that's the job for them. And as I was coming up here today, it's so cold outside, I asked Marcus, where are those people at? He's like, they're probably in that tent. I was like, man, it's just fucked up, you know? So many fucking buildings around here. Can't somebody make a way for those folks just to have somewhere to go when the weather gets like this, and figure out one of the reasons that I'm building the Dreams Experience Academy, my school, right, is, for me, it's all about commerce. It's all about money. And so if I could teach these kids, especially the ones that come from the neighborhood that I came from, that you don't need to chase money, you are money. The machine doesn't exist without you. You don't need them, they need you, right? Let me get enough of these kids together in a space that I could show them through working with me in these projects. Let me give you access to shit on the highest level possible so you could see, so you could feel, so you can get that dopamine hit. I was telling you about being able to do a record. They've been chasing me for 3 or 4 years about building an album using AI to reconstitute that old voice and building a new a follow-up to no one could do it better. And you know, it's interesting, and I'm going to do it, because I'm a unicorn in that space. Most folks are scared of AI. They think it's finna come take everybody's job, and it's really a bunch of bullshit, because AI can only do what you tell it to do. It can't think. It's just regurgitating old information. That means it can never do what you do. So what it makes is only a representation of the person that programmed it, right? And if you are, AI could never outdo D.O.C. It's impossible. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have that capability. But because they want me to do the record, I could take on that job and use it to connect these kids to the jobs of the future. I saw the chef on your deal. The chef's on one of those new songs. I'd allow those kids to come in and work with the chef and see how these things feel and go, and understand that if you stay, one of the tenets of my school, I build 4 verticals in a curriculum. The 4 verticals are gaming, game design, entertainment, that's music, TV and film, the creator economy, the Kai Cenat, or these influencers, what they do, and AI development. Those 4 verticals, in my humble opinion, are all the jobs, or 60-70% of the jobs of tomorrow. If I don't bring that information to my kids, and where I come from, they're not gonna get it. The machine ain't gonna do it. They're keeping those jobs for they folks, So let me bring that information home, show my kids what tomorrow is really about, because those kids, most kids in Gen Z are already on another planet.
Yeah, man.
Because they were born into this technology shit. And if you give them access, they're gonna come up with shit that you never even thought about coming up with.
This is my point with conduct. I think a lot of people associate being underground with being unsuccessful, and that's not necessarily the case. You're some of the biggest musicians ain't got the greatest deals, and some of the most successful artists I know you might have never heard of, but they run their own labels, they got their own merch, they tour when they feel like, but they're not household names, do you know what I mean? And that's the message we're trying to kind of push over here. In terms of AI, I almost think it's like propelled the original voice. If you're like, I don't know, just a stereotypical voice, you're gonna be easily copied and traced in. But if anyone copies my voice on AI, you're gonna hear me.
That's right.
Strat GPT.
That's right.
What I mean? But so that brings me back to like the creative process, and I think a lot of people are very interested in where you get that stuff from. So I want to tap into like your creative process. Like, does it come to you easy? Have you ever had writer's block? Is it easier to write for other people than it is to yourself? Like, how does it all work with you when you sit down to write and create things?
No, man, it's all of that. I'm no different from you. I sit down, and if the shit don't come, I leave the shit alone. Come back some other time. And I never take credit for it anyway, man. It's a G.O.D. thing. When I sit down, the shit just flows. And it feels good. It's like a Lego. It's just pieces that fit together. You may write, and y'all gonna, when you see the documentary, you're gonna see this in the doc, because these are the same lessons I gave Snoop when he first started working with me. He would write these big, long ass fucking raps that's 1,000 fucking words long, and none of it was connected. It meant, and I would read down to it, and I would say, Snoop, this line is dope. This shit falls off right here. It lost everything, but right here, it picked it back up, and it was really cool. So let's take this line, and where it fucked up at, stick that line behind that line. And now pick it back up, let it go. Nope, fell off right here. Let's cut that out. But see right here, when it did this, now take that line and put it back under those lines. And you just keep going until every line is a great line, and it fits itself together. You know what I mean? It's really like putting Lego pieces together, and by the time you finish, you got G-Thing. That's how G-Thing was made, you know? And then you get to the last line, and I tell Snoop Dogg, and I put my name in the shit.
yeah. I think it's mad because in certain forms of electronic music that we do, a lot of MCs get dissed or the people don't rate it, and it's the producers that get a lot of credit. In hip-hop and stuff, it's more, you know, a lot of the producers don't get the credit, but you've come up in a camp where there's a lot of love in there. There's obviously been mad fractures within the labels and people falling out, but in terms of like Dre being a producer and a rapper, he's obviously cemented as a legend, do you know what I mean? And everybody that's worked with you, a lot of people, modern artists keep their ghostwriters quiet. It's on the low, do you know what I mean? And like it's presented, but you've always got love from everybody who you've worked with. How does it feel to get celebrated in that way? And like, do you feel celebrated enough for what you've contributed to the thing?
Bro, it's not about me. You know, it's way bigger than me. You could never celebrate me enough for what I've done. It's impossible. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't want that. You know what I mean? I'm much more interested in the next me, because there's another one. There's another young motherfucker out there that will tear your ass up, but the machine will tear his ass up if somebody doesn't get him and put their arms around him and let him know, you know, his value. You know, that's the best thing I can give to a young artist is know your value. Don't let the machine dictate anything, because underground artists know that direct to your consumer is the best way to do anything. The machine can give you fame. The underground can get you paid. You know what I mean? And I don't do this shit for fame. I do this shit to be great. But now I'm old. And I got sons. So I do this shit for a job. You know what I mean? And although it's meaningful to me, and I don't do shit, I would never disrespect the gift. But now it's got to be about this paper. You know, you're gonna respect this business. And this film was supposed to come out in 23, but they was playing the show business games with me, and I stood on integrity. You know, I know what this is, and you can't take it. You can't have it until you see what I see. You can't fucking have it. You know, it's never gonna come out. If you don't take this deal, man, fuck your deal. You know, I told the motherfucker, I said, look, I'll let motherfuckers into my house one at a time for $20 until I get my money back before I let you fucking have it. And I meant that shit. You know what I mean?
Bro, I was trying to charge $20 for a selfie outside earlier. Really respectfully for this, because I know it's your private life and your family, but you spoke about your children. I know we've got a lot of big Erykah Badu fans in here, and a lot of them want to hear that side of things. So I know you've known Erykah from way before, back in Dallas. You're from the same place originally.
Yeah, I'm from West Dallas.
How do you fucking...
And she's from South Dallas.
How the fuck do you gravitate around all these legends, man? You know what I mean? Everywhere you go.
It's a G.O.D. thing.
Yeah. But how was it seeing Erykah's rise from coming back then? I think you said she was like a bit of a rapper first, and then...
Yeah, she was a rapper named MC Apples. And she rapped in a group called the Deaf Ones. And I was in a group called the Feet of Fresh Crew. And this is when we had the skating ring parties, and we would all be battling. Of course, I was tearing their ass up. You know? In '89, I left. And 10 years later, well, '87, I left to do the Easy-E, N.W.A, all of that shit. But 10 years later, '97, there's this song called On and On, it's popping. And it's this girl from Dallas named Erykah Badu. And when I seen it, I was like, wow. Because when we were young, she was just this little skinny thing with pretty eyes, you know. But she had Badu by the time I seen her the next time, and she was this big old fine woman. And I went through my struggles, and this is early 2000s during the Up and Smoke tour time. The tour came to Dallas, and we hung out, and I did this event called the Hip Hop Summit in Dallas with Russell Simmons. And she came, she was a part of the summit, and we reconnected, and we started hanging out and talking about those old times. And, you know, we developed a real kinship and relationship, and later loving relationship. And a year later, she gave me this beautiful little girl named Puma. And, you know, for the next 3 or 4 years, I was like, man, fuck rap. You know, I'm gonna carry this baby and carry this bag, and I'm good, you know. And then Dre called, said, man, I'm making a new record. Why don't you come help me out? They'd started building some new material, and I wanted to go back. I wanted to figure out the end of my personal journey. You know, my story hadn't ended for me yet. And that caused Erykah and I to, you know, to part ways and not be able to pull it back together. But she is still someone that I love deeply. And I know that she loves me in the same way. I ended up reconnecting with another woman and having more children, sons. But Erykah delivered my son.
Right, okay, man. I think Manchester's got a little bit of beef with her because she played here not long ago and she came on stage like about an hour and a bit
She
late or
do
something,
that.
you know what I'm saying? But
Now y'all know my motherfucking band.
But yeah.
Imagine you supposed to be going somewhere. And you gotta sit in the car and wait for a damn hour.
In fairness though, I think everyone was mad, but by the end of the show she won them back round.
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I
man.
mean? So,
She's you know, she's a force, bro. You know,
yeah, man.
and you know, love of my life.
Yeah, man, lovely, man. I was going to do this at the end, yeah, but I think sometimes waiting to the end is a bit of a mad point to do it. So I just wondered, has anyone got any questions or anything? Like, it'd be great to hear from you guys while we've got the legend in the place. Anyone, just put your hand up or whatever. Has anyone got any questions? If not, I can continue. Come on, man. Sorry, go on, Jonah.
You know when you said you like walking to school and you read the dictionary, was that like just so you know words to make it sound like you were going to school? Or
Yeah.
like thinking musically already? Like,
No, I wasn't thinking shit about music at the time. I just wanted to fool my dad when I got home.
worked out well though, wouldn't it?
At the back over there, somewhere.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, you mentioned about kind of being in a different phase of things now in terms of money and approaching work slightly differently. Like, do you have a pretty solid framework in terms of how you work out what stuff you will now do for money that maybe you didn't used to, but what is still just a big no-no? I think about this with like conduct as well, like you're saying fuck that world, but you're still navigating it, you know?
Yeah,
like, how do you kind of, what's your approach to?
Yeah, I'm here to. I can't control what anybody else does. The machine is going to exist. What I'm gonna do is make my art with integrity and push it the way it feels good to me. But I can't make a child that may be coming up behind me not want to involve itself with the system if that's what that child wants to do. What I can do is just empower that child with the information so they don't allow the machine to take advantaging them.
If I can expand on that slightly, I have got nothing against commercial music. I've got nothing against sort of somebody aiming high, trying to get a major deal, any of that stuff. I love music, I love all culture, I love it all. I listen to some of the corniest shit you would imagine. My thing is now, to get a bit technical with it, none of these labels are gonna sign an underground artist till you get to a certain level. They're not interested in building and developing artists. They're only interested in when you get to a certain point, you've got a decent following to step in and then sign you up. That's fine if artists want to go that direction, but as our job, I feel like it's our job to educate and empower that artist, to help them set themselves up perfectly, so that by the time they get to that point that a major label comes in or someone, but whoever it is, you're in a place of leverage, of understanding, you've already got your own setup, and so you now, instead of, when I first started music, if a label came in, I was that excited that someone would put my tunes on, I would have signed anything. Do you know what I mean? But nowadays, if you can get yourself to a certain level, by the time the labels come in, it's almost a question of, do I even need to do this? I'm already at this level.
That's right.
And if I am going to do it, get your fucking wallet out. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it. I'm not against any artist aiming as high as they want to be. I just want to make sure by the time they get to that point, they know exactly what they're doing. They understand. Musicians, yeah, as a musician, you're getting asked to do above and beyond everything these days. More than being an artist, you've got to be your own social media manager, your own marketing, your own whatever. That's fine, but if we're being asked to do that much, why aren't labels stepping up and doing more? Why aren't agents stepping up and doing more? Why aren't we teaching them about contracts, about publishing?
Yes.
So by the time they get to that point, you're in a position of strength and understanding, and you're not just signing anything. That's my only point with it. I've got no objection to anyone going further or aiming high. I think there's benefits to that. I just think we should definitely celebrate the underground more, and we should educate these artists to grow and build their own careers first, and that's it. Yeah.
And but it's so much more than just where you sign and where you go. It's so much more to every artist. There's a financial arm that they have to know, and being in this space, there's mental shit that you got to go to, and mental health is a huge issue in the world as it is. And when you step into that space, you're dealing with all kind of other demons that wouldn't normally be in your circle if you are successful, if your stuff is good. But I don't distinguish underground and commercial in the same way. To me, the shit is good or it's not. You know, I don't give a fuck what you call it. You can call it this or you can call it that, and this is just me. It has to have a frequency that resonates with me. If it resonates with me, it doesn't matter if it's Jay Dilla or Eazy-E, it feels a certain kind of way, and that moves me. And I resonate with, I move towards those things. Doesn't matter where the artists come from, doesn't matter, because to me, hip hop is global. Now, it's not something that just the American kids get to hold and say it's theirs. There's Brazilian kids, there's English kids, there's Australian kids, there's African kids that are connected to this form of art, and we should use this shit to bring ourselves closer instead of separating ourselves. Because if we could all come together under one sort of umbrella that just says, this is what hip hop is, shit, we could really run some shit around here.
Yeah. I think going back to your point before, I've got, my 2 children, they're so more advanced than I've ever been in my life. I'm actually very optimistic about the next generation.
I am too, bro.
I think they're way more clued up than we are. The world is a lot more accessible to them, and they're aware of it all. But going back to one of your early points, when you start getting success in music, there's a lot of roads that can lead you astray. Like I said earlier, when myself and Dub Physics first got on tour, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say I've always been a humble guy. You know me, I talk to everybody. I've never been thinking I'm big in a thing, but I think just arriving in a city where you get collected by a promoter and then they'll give you weed and then there's a bottle there and just anything that you want, that's a tricky path, and it's something I didn't navigate great either. When I should have really doubled down and done more music, I just partied. I ain't gonna lie, I had the time of my life, but looking back now, I wish someone would have said to me, be ready for that.
That's it.
And you've had a similar journey. You've been very open about when you first found success and going a bit left and, getting involved in all types of things. Do you think, I don't know, do you think that's as prevalent today as it was then? You know, do you think there's more information out there for the next generation?
Come on, bro. You see all the shit on the news. The motherfuckers didn't just show up today. They've been there the whole time, laying under the carpet, you know. And so, yeah, bro, you have to be really careful. You know, I never went to a Diddy party.
Thank God. Bro, you... Yo, thank fuck we cleared that up, you know what I mean?
But I never got invited to one either. Maybe they knew, don't invite that motherfucker. If he come, he gonna tell everybody. But those parties still exist today, even though it's not in the, you know, those motherfuckers, nothing has changed. It's still a dirty game. And I got a 21-year-old daughter named Puma, who is beginning her, she's starting to feel like I want to, you know, and even though she got a mother that is a whirlwind, that she could step behind, she's her own young woman and she wants to walk her own path, you know, and I respect her so much for that. But at the same time, I'm a dad first, you know, and I will fuck you up behind that little girl.
Yeah, man.
And I don't mind saying it when it comes time for it, I'm gonna be a stage father. I'm going to every goddamn show, and I just want to stand over there and look, you know, and look mean and a mother, because that's my baby first, you know.
Yeah.
And then she can grow, be Puma Badu or whatever they're gonna do.
I think this is an important point because, you know, going back to in my talk before when I said the kid first put the headphones on my ears and I heard that Ice Cube for the first time, it was a defining moment for me. But I did hear Erykah talking about this as well, and like, you know, when we think back to N.W.A. and that, it was all like, you know, fuck the police and it was gangster rap and this, that and the other, but she was very vocal about it being originally very revolutionary music and it had a meaning behind it. It was the same time as like Public Enemy.
Yeah, man.
And it was sort of there, almost the West Coast version
That's exactly
of that,
what it was.
Very much more violent and, you know, do you think that message got lost on people? Do you know what I mean? Like
money. You know, the money came, and Cube was the architect of that energy. But me and Dre, we listen to it. It takes a nation of millions every single day on the way to the studio. It's impossible that didn't affect those records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, but Easy didn't give a damn about that shit. He just wanted to talk about,
Yeah.
you know. And so when Cube left, that energy kind of left with him.
Yeah.
And so Niggas for Life, in my humble opinion, lost that thing that made it revolutionary. You know, and we are always better when we in that space.
Yeah, man. I think for me, like, I hate when people say what's your top 5 rappers of all time. It's just the stupidest question. It changes every day, bro. But I definitely think Ice Cube doesn't get his props or flowers for being such an incredible writer and storyteller. And it's interesting we just brought up the Public Enemy thing because he did a lot of production with the Bomb Squad and all that kind of stuff. How did that come about? Like, and you know, I don't know. Tell us a bit about Dre, man, because I know he doesn't like, you know, his story being spoken about much and stuff. But he's a fucking machine with the stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Dre
Like, for you to be close friends with him and for him to bring you on, that's a mad thing to happen. You know?
Dre is just a gifted person. He sees and hears things differently. But it's not Dre's production that makes him great. It's his skills as an engineer. It's how he turns those knobs that makes him what he is. And he's been blessed, bro. He started out with me and Cube.
Yeah, not to be fair.
Come on, bro.
To be fair, yeah.
He went from me and Cube to Snoop to him. Come on, man. Like There's motherfuckers that ain't nowhere near as good as Dre. If they had that roster, they'd have done pretty goddamn good.
To be fair,
But
I saw a thread online the other day. Someone put up a post saying, as that they were kind of doubting Dre, saying, "Have you ever seen Dre doing anything other than sitting next to the desk? Have you ever seen Dre like programming drums or everything?" And bro, the comment section, I don't know if you saw it. It was like fucking every rapper came out and was like, Dre was the first person I seen tether 4 MPCs together. Dre was the first guy I seen play, like, and just backed it to the death, do you know what I mean? But not many people have seen that side of his process.
I've seen it. The motherfucker's cold. You know, when there was no MPCs, you know, when it was SP12s and it was just drums and live drums and live instrumentation. Dre is a different breed.
I think this is an interesting point as well, because back then, I don't know the specific numbers and that, but with an MPC when man was, or SP, when man was sampling back in them days, you might have, I don't know, 1 second of sample time for like a snare, a kick, this, that and the other. Whereas now we've got unlimited tracks of recording and recording. Do you think there's power in having that limitation to producing music and stuff, or do you appreciate having just unlimited racks of effects?
Yeah, I'm not a producer like that, bro. I just want the shit to sound good. If it sounds great, that's it. If it don't, that ain't it. I wouldn't fuck with how you did it, what machine you use, how many samples you got. It's either that's it or it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I wanted to promote this event, it's kind of like with the UK, you have to really, I think the heads in here understand the gravity of the stuff that you've done. Sometimes we're trying to reach a bit of a wider audience, and I was thinking about how to promote this, and I came across the sample at the start of your tune, you know, "Y'all Ready for This?" which is obviously massive in dance music, and it's just an iconic little sample there. Did you get credit? I know you're not into the credit personally for it, but you know, the business side of music.
No, never got it.
Mad.
Never got it. And that's the past. I'm rectifying some of those things now through the courts, and that's cool, and we can get it right. But it's not about me. Right now, it's about Manchester.
It's always been about Manchester, bro. And Salford, you get me?
Well, for me, now, it's about Manchester, and how can I add? How can I add to the growth? How can I build with this city? How can I build a bridge from Oak Cliff to Ratcliffe?
Hey,
You know?
jeez.
How can I do my part as an ambassador, not just to that football club, but to this music, to this genre, and to this planet we share? What part can I play to bring us together in a way where we live, trying to support one another, trying to establish a connection that brings love to one another and passion about everybody being successful. You know, one thing about the English, you guys are so fucking polite. It's like everybody's, if everybody that raps, I see rapping, everybody thinks every other rapper's really good. Well, what? I'm looking for the motherfucker that don't like nobody. Where's that dude that thinks I'm great? Fuck them. Because you got to have that ego in order to find your greatness. But English people, they so polite.
If you're saying that and it's been Radcliffe, we're fucked, you know what I mean? Speaking of which, though, I definitely have to remind that D.O.C. is going to be performing in Radcliffe, I believe, the 6th of March.
Right,
at the
the
football
6th
club.
of March, I'm coming back to do something at Ratcliffe.
Yeah, man. Have it, man.
Because I went to London about a week ago and performed in front of about 100 or so people. And I hadn't performed on stage as D.O.C. live in almost 40 years. And I'm still pretty goddamn good. And it's just time. You know, it's time. There was a girl here and a man here that were crying. You know what I mean? Like, what'd you say?
We're all crying.
It was a fucking bug out because I didn't know what to expect because it's new music with this voice, but it's also old music that I put together using AI tools that I could be able to perform it. Because I know some people want to hear that funky enough. Some people want to hear the formula. They want to know what that's like. But it was so dope that it drove me, it lets me know that there's an appetite for this story. There's an appetite for this comeback. People need to see it. They need to know that no matter fucking what, never let nobody tell you what you cannot do. If you believe in yourself and you believe in G.O.D., you can do any motherfucking thing in this world, and you don't need a machine to help you out. All you need is the belief in yourself. And I got up there, and the stage was no bigger than this carpet, you know. And I was a little nervous, you know, because it's been fucking 40 years. Are my knees still gonna work? You know, if I bend down, am I gonna be able to get back up? You know. But it was really powerful when I saw the sister crying. It was like, man, this shit really means something to people. And so, let me give it the reverence it deserves, and then I rock that bitch.
Fair. Now listen, man, I want everyone to give it up to the D.O.C. for coming out. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right. We're really looking forward to the documentary coming out. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's working on the DEA, working with a lot of young people, and that's the similarities that we're connected on with conduct and what we're doing. He didn't have to come here and do this. It's the first ever time we've done this type of thing. So for him to come out, represent with us, all the boys from Radcliffe and that, sincere fucking thanks to this
I want to say one more thing. I want to.
We're gonna have some questions as well, I think.
Okay, well, there it is. I want to make sure that this sister got her question.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I'm somebody
Love your hair, by the way.
Thank you so much. I'm a musician who's observed. I've learned a lot about a lot of artists and seen as a medium. The artists that have died have been 38 as a medium, and for that reason, I held back from doing music just so I could understand the scope of the industry and who I was around, and especially having gone through my own kind of experiences. So I'm asking really from your perspective now, have you had pushback from the mainstream with this new perspective of approach in the industry?
I would welcome pushback. It makes me want to give it to their ass, but I don't think they see me coming. I don't think they believe it's possible that what's about to happen is possible, because it's a G.O.D. thing. They never see him moving. They too caught up in their own bullshit. They think it's all about them, but it's not. It's really all about the people. You do this for them. You don't do it for you. So you have to have them in your mind. When I make music, I know what you're gonna do before you do it. Because I know what you want in here, because we're all humans, we all want the same thing. We want to smile, we want to happy, we want to feel good. So when I'm writing, I know that at this point you're gonna go, at this point you're gonna go, wow, you know what I mean? I write for those moments because I'm in tune with my audience. But I have no fear. I believe in God, and I fear no man.
Or Erykah Badu.
Sometimes I fear everybody.
We got any more questions from anyone before we wrap it up, man? It'd be nice to get a couple. CJ over there, please. So come back to you.
So first of all, thank you for coming through Manchester again. Caught you last time as well, so you're like an honorary Mancunian now.
Hey.
I did have a really profound question, but I feel like you've kind of answered that. So I just wanted to know who's been one of your favourite artists to be in the studio with?
It's a good question. I would probably say Doggy Dog is my all-time favorite to be in the studio with because he's just funny and fun.
Good vibes.
Yeah, he's just the guy, you know.
And is there a verse that you wish you wrote?
Ooh.
No.
Yeah, man. We've got another one at the back over there, please, brother.
First of all, thank you for your wisdom, man. I feel like everything you said is really spot on, properly touched. And my question was basically the same as that. It was out of lyricists, though, like, out of everyone you've worked with as a lyricist, who's been like the sort of best ones and what stood out about them as lyricists?
That I've worked with. The person that pushed me was Cube. He was the guy that pushed me to be, because when we were young men, Cube as an artist is really straightforward. Like, you know, in those first 4 bars, what you finna get with Cube. You either, whether he's finna fuck you up or you wanna party with you or whatever it is, you know in those first 4 lines what it's gonna be. And it's hard for a guy that's not a gangster to write songs that I'm gonna be able to compete with this guy in that medium. So I chose to make Easy funny and charming and clever, you know, and because he was this big. And so if you say wing ding ding-a-ling, people are gonna be like, oh, she's addicted to what my dick did. People are gonna laugh and think it's cool. But Cube drove me to be much better. I think I drove him.
I'm guessing you wouldn't let anyone write your bars then?
No. Well, maybe if they was real good.
Right at the back over here.
Just wanted to ask, is there any artists in Manchester that you're tapped in right now?
I haven't heard anybody yet. You know, I've heard a few people, and everybody's got a skill set. I haven't heard the one guy that I feel like I need to fuck with this dude.
I'll show you my stuff outside.
But my ears are always open because you never know. You never know. And if he's the shit, I want him. You know what I mean? For real.
Anyone else before we wrap it up? Go on, sorry.
In terms of obviously the new kind of music that you're going to be producing, are you going to look towards samples from when you talked about before the OJs being a massive influence when you were younger? Would you go, because obviously Manchester, the kind of Motown thing is a huge influence on all of us. Will you be looking that far back, or is there anything that's really influenced you in the 40 years that you're looking to sample?
No, I want to stay. I want to talk to everybody. I want to expand on the album that I'm doing now. Is called N.W.G, right? N.W.G, the acronym stands for Nothing Without God, right? But if I tell you, but believe me when I tell you this, it sounds like if N.W.A made a gospel record. And so if you could imagine what that shit sounds like, that's what's coming.
So listen, good luck with everything you got going on, man. It's great to see you back at it.
Thank you, bro.
It's great to see you working with Radcliffe, the D.E.A, everything you're doing. Very grateful to have you here again. As far as the conduct convention that we're doing here, hopefully this is the start of something bigger. And we're about growing this community. We're about communicating with you guys. So how we can improve, if there's anything you want to get involved with. We've just signed up a writer for the magazine who's doing her university placement with us. So we're trying to like grow. It's not just about art, it's about management, it's about behind the scenes. I'm learning on the job, we're learning on the job. And we're gonna try and do this often and more. So just once again, thank you so much for everyone for coming down. Thanks for Doc for making this happen. Big love.
Conduct.